I am Ferdinand Marcos, and I am the President of the Republic of the Philippines. I stand today on behalf of 110 million Filipinos.
Hello people and hello universe. Hi everyone, it's me again. Shoutout sa inyo mga beswa. Sa mga Marcos Loyalists, Filipinos, OFWs, supporters. Hello, shoutout po sa inyong lahat. Mayroon tayong upload videos, updates guys. Ayan. Nako guys, no? May pinarmahang batas ang ating mahal na Pangulo sa araw na ito, no? November 8, 2024. Nako, maganda ito mga kababayan. Basahin po natin, ano man ito. Ang sabi dito mga kababayan, courtesy po ng ating mahal na Pangulo, with the signing of the Philippines Maritime Zone Act and the Philippines-Achipelqgic Sea Lines Act. Ay wow, social. Maganda ito guys, no? Dalawang batas ang pinirmahan niya, no? So, our seas are safeguarded. Our entitlements are defined and our rights are secure. Ay wow. Tama nga naman, ano? This means our fishermen and communities can work with the certainty and protection they deserve, knowing the resources of our seas remainder to benefits from and sustain. Yes naman. Alam po natin guys, mga mangingisda natin, kawawa naman. Kasi ano yan diyan po sila kumukuha ng hanap buhay nila, tapos sinaharangan sila ng mga tsikwa. Ito po ang mahirap, no? Sana man lang, no? Nung past administration, nagapan niya sana, no? Nasabi ko ito kasi sabi po ng dating Supreme Court Justice na si Carpio, itong sakop ng economic zone ng bansang Pilipinas, which is ang Ayungin Shoal, o saan man ba dyan, sa West Philippine Sea, ay isinuko ni Digong sa bansang China. Tapos, mapapaisip ka rin talaga, mga kababayan, bakit nga ba nang haharas ang mga Chinese vessel dyan? Ano ba ang dahilan? Diba? Isipin nyo naman, hindi naman sila siguro manghaharas pag walang dahilan. Kaya, masasabi natin na baka nga totoo yung sinabi ni dating Supreme Court Justice dating Secretary Supreme Court Justice sa si Carpio. Baka tama yung sinabi niya na isinuko na ni Digong. Baka mamaya magkanda bayad-bayaran na sa lugar na yan. Baka bilyon-bilyon na, di ba? Who knows? Hindi natin alam. So, dahil dito, mga kababayan, alam nyo ang Pangulo, pinaglaban niya po yan sa international. Pinanawagan niya po yan. Bawat speech niya, lagi yung pinapanawagan yan na ang Ayungin Shoal dyan sa West Philippine Sea, sakop po ng economic zone ng bansang Pilipinas. Malinaw na malinaw po yan. Talagang makita itong last Asian Summit, talagang sinabi niya sa harap-harapan mismo ng matataas na opisyal ng China. Talagang supalpal sila kaya doon. No? Sabi dito, we stand as a proud maritime nation, ready to defend and nurture what is ours. Mabuhay ang bagong Pilipinas. Malacanang Palace, November 8, 2024. You see? Ready to defend? Yes. Kaya nga ebensya. Talagang pinaglaban niya po yan. Sa madlang people, sa harapan ng publiko, international, worldwide yan. Ganyan sa guys, katapang. Sinusupla-supla niya yung mga opisyal ng matataas na opisyal ng China. Harap-harapan niya sinasabi. Panoorin niyo yung speech, yung mga balita guys. Yung mga speech niya talaga naman ganyan katapang, tahimik lang ito pero matapang ito guys Ganun ang mga matatalino talaga. Matapang, hindi lang hanggang salita, ginawa hanggang gawa. Di ba? Okay. Ay, tuloy. Sabi dito guys, the Philippines Maritime Zone Act and the Philippines Archipelagic Sea Lines Act. Talagang pinagtibay talaga. Ay talagang protektado talaga yung ating economic zone, yung ating pag-aari. Itong batas na ito guys, talagang maganda. It is my fervent hope that with the help of these two laws, we will continue to pursue and defend our maritime interest and navigate towards a brighter and stronger bagong Pilipinas. Ferdinand Marcos Jr. President of the Republic of the Philippines. You see, mga kababayan, yan ang mahirap eh. Sayang lang din naman talaga kung pabayaan mo yan. Ang minsan mga kababayan, maisip po natin, bakit kaya hindi inaagapan ni dating Pangulong Digong itong West Philippine Sea na dapat ipinaglaban niya, no? Bakit si Pangulong Marcos Jr. talagang pinaglaban niya? Ano bang nangyari? Totoo kaya yung sinabi ni dating Secretary Supreme Court Justice si Carpio? Totoo kaya yun? Hindi natin alam, mga kababayan. Kaya hanggang dulo ay paglalaban po natin ang sariling atin. Pagdating sa soberenya ng Pilipinas, diyan mo po maasahan ng Pangulong Marcos Jr. Talagang hindi titigil po yan. Ipapanawagan niya yan sa buong mundo. Ganyan ka importante sa kanya. Sabi niya, 'di ba, sa kanyang State of the Nation, kahit 1 inch lang ang pag-aari ng Pilipinas, walang sino mang mga banyaga na mag-angkin nito. Sabi ko sa inyo, yan ang matapang. Pagdating sa soberenya, may pakialam. Ay yung iba dyan pinabayaan na lang, hindi man lang pinaglabang. Although sabihin mo na talagang sakop natin dahil nanalo tayo sa UNCLOS, no? Sa 2016, natalo ang China dyan, guys. Kaso lang, kiniklaim pa rin nila na sa kanila. Hindi naman pwede po yun. Matuto silang gumalang kung ano yung resulta nung pagkapanalo ng Pilipinas noong 2016. Well, anyway, para actual, makita nyo yung pagpirma niya sa batas na ito at pakinggan nyo guys yung kanyang speech, okay? See you again on my next upload video. Bye and babus. God bless Philippines. Eto na.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. You may now be seated. His Excellency President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., distinguished guests, good morning. Joining the President on this auspicious occasion are the honorable members of the Senate, led by the distinguished Senate President Francis Escudero, and the honorable members of the House of Representatives, led by the distinguished Speaker Ferdinand Martin Romualdez. Also with us are distinguished members of the Cabinet and senior government officials led by the distinguished Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, as well as representatives of key development partners and stakeholders. Today, we shall witness the enactment of 2 priority reform measures. First is the Philippine-Maritime Zones Act, and second is the Philippine-Achipelqgic Sea Lanes Act. We shall now proceed with the enactment ceremony. The following esteemed guests are requested to ascend the stage to stand witness as the President signs the enrolled bills. Senate President Francis Escudero, House Speaker Ferdinand Martin Romualdez, Senate Majority Leader Francis Tolentino, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, House Deputy Speaker Raymond Democrito Mendoza, House Deputy Speaker David Suarez, House Deputy Speaker Antonio Albano, House Minority Leader Marcelino Libanan, Representative Maria Rachel Arenas, Representative Rufus Rodriguez, Representative Raul Tupas, Representative Loreto Acharon, Representative Rodrigo Gutierrez, Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, Department of Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo, Department of Finance Secretary Ralph Recto, Department of Interior and Local Government Secretary John Vic Remulla, National Economic and Development Authority Secretary Arsenio Balisacan, National Security Advisor Secretary Eduardo Año, Presidential Assistant on Maritime Concerns Andres Centino, Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff General Romeo Browner Jr., Philippine Coast Guard Commandant Admiral Ronnie Hill Gavan, Special Assistant to the President Antonio Ernesto Lagdameo Jr., Presidential Advisor for Legislative Affairs Mark Leandro Mendoza. May we now request the President to please ascend the stage and approach the presidential table. First to be signed is the Philippine Maritime Zones Act. The President may now proceed to sign the enrolled copy. Upon signing the harmonized version of Senate Bill number 2492 and House Bill number 7819, it shall be known as Republic Act number 12064, entitled An Act Declaring the Maritime Zones under the Jurisdiction of the Republic of the Philippines. This measure declares the Philippine sovereignty and defines sovereign rights over the maximum extent of its maritime zones, including internal waters, archipelagic waters, territorial sea, contiguous zone, exclusive economic zones, and continental shelf in accordance with enclosed existing laws and treaties. Thank you, Mr. President. We shall now proceed with the President signing into law the Philippine Archipelagic Sea Lanes Act. Upon signing the harmonized version of Senate Bill number 2665, House Bill number 9034, it shall be known as Republic Act number 12065, entitled An Act Providing for the Establishment of Archipelagic Sea Lanes in the Philippine Archipelagic Waters, prescribing the obligations of foreign ships and aircraft exercising the right of archipelagic sea lanes passage through the designated archipelagic sea lanes and for other purposes. This measure complements the Philippine Maritime Zones Act in ensuring the protection of the country's sovereignty and maritime domain by designating the routes and areas that shall be utilized and accessed by foreign military vessels and foreign registered aircraft for passage, pursuant to the United Nations Convention on the Laws of the Sea and the Convention on Civil Aviation, also known as the Chicago Convention of 1944. Thank you, Mr. President. May we request the witnesses to please descend the stage. May we now invite Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin to introduce our keynote speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Thank you very much, Executive Secretary Luc Bersamin. Please take your seat. Senate President Chis Escudero, and the members of the Senate, the House Speaker Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez, and members of the House of Representatives, the honorable members of the Cabinet, our key stakeholders and development partners in this effort that we are doing to safeguard the sovereignty of the seas of the Republic of the Philippines, other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Today we gather for the signing of two very significant laws that emphasize the importance of our maritime and archipelagic identity. The Philippine Maritime Zones Act and the Philippines Archipelagic Sea Lanes Act. With these pieces of legislation, we align our domestic laws with international law, specifically the UN Convention on the Law of the Seas, or UNCLOS, to improve our capacity for governance and reinforce our maritime policies for economic development and for national security. The first law is the Philippine Maritime Zones Act, which clearly defines the extent of our maritime entitlements and fully declares their metes and bounds in accordance with our Constitution and with the UNCLOS. This is essential in establishing the extent of our maritime jurisdiction and to ensure that our rights and duties as an archipelagic state are well defined in order that all Filipinos can rightfully enjoy the riches of our seas. Our people, especially our fisherfolk, should be able to pursue their livelihood free from uncertainty and harassment. We must be able to harness mineral and energy resources in our seabed. Maintaining the primacy of the UNCLOS and the 2016 Arbitral Award as our beacons in the maritime domain, the Philippines reaffirms its sovereignty, sovereign rights, and jurisdiction in our waters. By defining and asserting our maritime zones, we project to the international community that we are staunchly committed to nurturing, cultivating, and protecting our maritime domain. The second law, the Philippine Archipelagic Sea Lanes Act, complements both our maritime and aerial policies by establishing a route system in our country's archipelagic waters and, as well, the airspace above it. The designated archipelagic sea lanes and air routes aim to facilitate safe passage for foreign ships and aircraft without compromising our national security, nor diminishing our capacity for good environmental stewardship. These sea lanes will offer continuous, expeditious, and unobstructed transit for vessels and air transport, while obliging them to comply with navigational regulations and procedures, as well as with the air rules of flight safety and protocols. We are committed in implementing these ASLs in faithful accordance with the process found in the UNCLOS, while firmly upholding the principles of reciprocity and mutual respect amongst states. The passage of these two priority bills fully demonstrate our commitment as a responsible member of the international community and our advocacy to uphold rules-based international order. In the same breath, these signal our resolve to protect our maritime resources, preserve our rich biodiversity, and ensure that our waters remain a source of life and livelihood for all Filipinos. I convey my gratitude to our legislatures for their steadfast commitment to safeguard the interests of the Filipino people. This includes the assertion of our rights as an archipelagic state while fulfilling our obligations under international law. Bringing these bills forward took incredible commitment, as these have been deliberated since at least the 15th Congress. This long journey has been led by our maritime champions in the House of Representatives and in the Senate, supported by our dedicated team of public servants, technical and legal experts, academicians, and other stakeholders. To you who have collaborated and leveraged your wisdom and expertise to ensure the coherence and the soundness of these laws, I convey my appreciation, and so do the Filipino people. It is expected that the clarity of the extent of the maritime zones and the determination of the archipelagic sea lanes will impact domestic laws and regulations at the national and at the local level. I therefore call on all concerned government agencies and the local governments to review rules and regulations against these new laws with a view of undertaking the necessary steps for their effective implementation. As part of the 14th Congress that passed the Philippines Archipelagic Baselines Law in 2009, this matter is close to my heart, because these measures prove not only our commitment to ensuring the safety and prosperity of our maritime domain, but also our firm faith in our identity as a maritime nation. It is a spirit that transcends administrations. It is an intrinsic and undeniable part of the Filipino character. It is my fervent hope that with the help of these two laws, We will continue to pursue and defend our maritime interests and navigate towards a brighter and stronger bagong Pilipinas. Maraming salamat sa inyo lahat at magandang umaga sa inyo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now, may we request the President to please proceed downstage for a group photo. May we also request our attendees to gather at the center and join us for the group photo.